Hello everybody, welcome to TraderMerlin Show for your weekend edition. As you'll notice, I didn't title this one the weekend edition. I went straight and did a crypto title because there's been just way too many questions on it, so I figured most of the show will be dedicated to that. Of course, we'll look at the overall markets probably near the end of this program. For anybody here who might be new to the podcast or video cast or whatever you want to call this YouTube channel, do me a favor, click that subscribe button and we'll get you all kinds of great content going forward. That said, cheers everybody, happy Friday. It is a great day for a nice cold frosty glass of whiskey. Hope you all had a great trading week. And by the way, a shout out to my friend Gary who gave me this Colonel Taylor. This is a nice top shelf bourbon out there, some straight bourbon. So anyway, hope you guys are having a great day. Hello, Brendan, Big Ed, Richard, Terry, all the regular crew is here. Izzy, Tom, Josh as well. Good to see you, Josh. I love your little crypto meme that you put together the other day. Dana as well, Gary, Brendan's always in here. Alex as well. And yes, Alex sent me an email asking about more information on crypto. So, Alex, we can talk back and forth on that one offline. But for the most part, this will be kind of high-level stuff. And what I wanted to do is really say, look, I've been in the crypto space for quite a few years. And, of course, when I first started, I had no idea it would be what it is today. It was one of those things where I heard about something interesting, and I thought, you know what? Let me learn a little bit about this. Let me dabble in this. And it's interesting over the course of my life how certain things have started that way and turned into great things. For example, I have a finance degree, and I was studying business, and I just kind of went down the trading route. And I found out that there was this unique technology called direct access trading back in the late 90s, 1998 to be precise. And nobody really used it. Nobody really knew much about it. And I just started to do a little bit of research. And next thing you know, it transpired into my whole trading career, day trading, and just a phenomenal ride. And it's almost like this is just version 2, where I dabbled in something, learned as much as I could about it at the time because there wasn't too much information back in 2015-16. And all of a sudden, it's just really blown up to become very mainstream. And I don't think that we're anywhere close to being done. In that time period, I've learned some extremely expensive lessons. I'll actually tell you about one right now. I'm literally missing about $6,000 worth of Monero. And I'll tell you what happened, why that is. I have literally thrown away hundreds of dollars worth of Litecoin because you did stuff that at the end of it, you just smack your head and go, you idiot! How could you be so stupid? So the goal of this is really to say, over a nice glass of whiskey, learn from my mistakes, just like I would if I was teaching classes at Online Trading Academy. A large part of it is teaching the structure, the discipline, the strategy. But the bigger part, I think, is the personal experiences, what you really need to know getting into this. And I know we've got a bunch of people here who are very, very active, so make sure that you keep your comments coming. Keep them going through that chat there. All right, let me go. I had to do the nice little graphic here. Crypto, important learning lessons. Yes. I'll start off with some basic stuff here as we dive into the learning lessons. Now, I'm going to start very basic. Now, this isn't a buy cryptocurrency or sell cryptocurrency type of show. I think it's going to be more of learning the mechanics of different exchanges or markets as you progress and you're looking at different things to invest in, trade in. So, first step is you have to open an account somewhere, right? You have to find some way to turn your fiat dollars, euros, yen, pounds, whatever, into cryptocurrency. In the States, one of the major ones is one called Coinbase, which you heard me talk a lot about, but there are some others, Kraken as well, and Binance is probably the biggest in the world, but that's technically not based in the US. Technically, it's based in Japan, but they have an office here. But anyway, these types of exchanges, you would have to open an account. You would also, if you wanted to use something like this, which is, these are what's called hardware wallets. And what these do is allow you to store your cryptocurrency safely and securely offline away from any internet connection, making it much safer from hackers. Not that it's invincible and impenetrable, but it's just a safer way to do it. And I'll tell you different things, tricks about that as well. So let's go to the first step. You've opened your account. Let's just say you went to Coinbase. First thing you want to do with Coinbase is as you open up your account, they'll give you certain pieces of information. Now, if you have like a Yahoo email account or Google Gmail, whatever, it's usually what's my username and what's my password. Well, that's like the basic entry steps to crypto. There's other numbers out there that you have to pay attention to. And one of those is going to be this. It's called the seed phrase. Some might call it a master key. Some might call it a backup key, whatever it is. if you do not write this down, you risk losing all access to your account. So when you get these little Nano Ledger S's, the ones I was just holding up for you here, these are a hardware wallet, a card, just like the one that's on the screen, shows up with the package. And what they'll do is it will give you a recovery phrase. When you turn on the device, in this case, it'll give you 24 words. You guys can see there's 24 lines here. And it'll be like cat, friend, mountain, white. You know, it'll have 24 words. Make sure you write those down as legibly as humanly possible. Because if you spell them slightly wrong, you are screwed. You're totally screwed. This is the way to get your device back should you lose it. Now, one thing that's really cool about these Nano Ledger S's, I had one crash on me and it stopped working. And I was like, oh my God, it was not installing the update software. And I was freaking out because these have, let's just say, considerable amounts of money on them. Way more than should be on a small little plastic circuit board and chips and stuff. Anyway, what happened was I finally reformatted the whole drive, or the whole Nano, and I thought, I'm done. I lost all of it. I was in a panic mode. I entered the recovery phrase, and all of a sudden, everything was back there where it's supposed to. Make sure you write that seed phrase down. It may look something like, there's that one. Here's another example of one that might be for a web-based app phone, but it says right on there, write down or copy these words in the right order. They have to be in the right order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make sure you write them down. But I'm telling you guys, this is something that nobody told me early on. I have lost access to 2 accounts because I don't have the recovery phrase. And if you'll notice, with almost every single broker or exchange out there in the crypto space, there is not an 800 number for you to call. They don't exist. So you have to start going through their customer support through chat, which of course is automated. Hi, I'm Alice, an automated response system. How can I help you? It's like, no, I want a human being on the end of the line. Anyway, make sure you write those recovery keys down, the seed, backup phrase, master key, whatever you want. What I would recommend, and I don't want to show you this because I'm trying to find an account that might be dead to me so I can show you some of the stuff, because I have a bunch of different documentation. No, we're not showing you that one. Yeah, I can't show you any of these guys. I literally have pieces of paper with all of the recovery phrases written down, okay? It's important that you keep those safe. What I would recommend is if you do write them, I would cover them in Scotch tape. Cover the surface in case you spill water on it, or the ice cube from your whiskey melts and just bleeds onto that piece of paper and you lose it. It's dangerous. What did Medic say here? Also important about the ledger, never buy it used. Oh God, yes. Make sure it's straight from the manufacturer to protect your account. Yeah, you know, to me, buying a used Nano Ledger S is like buying a used toothbrush. Bad idea. Why would you do that? They're only like $100. Spend the money if you're gonna be serious about it and make sure that you want to really get involved heavily. Then spend the money. $100 is a drop in the bucket in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, that's a good point. Never buy these things used because someone may already have access to your device, and as soon as you plug it in and put your currencies there, they get sucked off. Okay, so probably the thing I wish I would have known earlier is how critical important. Yeah, Alex, don't use it as a coaster. Do not. Well, I mean, if you laminate it and put it in epoxy resin, it's safe forever. Sure, go for it. But that seed recovery phrase is critical. Now, I'm going to real quickly show you. I'm going to log into my Coinbase account here just as an example. All right, I'm always wary about logging in, but I want to show you the other thing that you should all do. No, Jeff, I was not going to say that. I went safe with a toothbrush, but you had to go there. All right, so let me just log into my Coinbase account here. There's nothing here that you guys really need to be worried about. There's my username and password. This is the other part that I highly recommend that you all do. It's set up 2-factor authentication. Why? Because if someone was to hack your email, which I think every single person here probably has had their email hacked at some point in time. I mean, it just seems like it's like catching the common cold these days. If someone were to hack your email, get in your email account, and you manage to you have all kinds of stuff written in there in your folders, they could very easily find out what your password is, go in there, log it in, and then transfer those funds out. 2-factor authentication makes it very, very challenging for that to happen. So what basically will happen is this. There's an app here on my phone. Let me bring it up here for you guys. well, it's called Google Authenticator. I don't want to show you the screen because there's a whole bunch of numbers on it. I just think you might understand from privacy perspective. I don't want you to know those numbers. But what it does is it generates a code that I believe lasts about 30 seconds to access this site. So as I'm looking at this two-factor authentication here for Coinbase, I open up this app, and I'll just go ahead and type in what the current code is, which is 811804, right? And I hit OK, or verify, and now it logs me in. So this is a huge step for account security. There's certainly much higher levels of security that you can do, but my goodness, if you're trusting this much money just to a simple username and password, you're a fool. I would not do that. So two-factor authentication you should enable on all of your devices, all of your accounts. So if you're using Binance, Binance has a pretty secure one. Kraken now makes it mandatory for every account to have dual-factor authentication, Coinbase as well. Those are things you can do to protect your accounts. Here's where the challenge comes, and it can be an extreme pain in the buttocks. It's this. What if you lose your phone? What if your phone crashes? For example, I recently got rid of my old phone and got a new iPhone, and the Google Authenticator was on that one and wouldn't load up on my new one. Now all of a sudden, I have to go back through to these different exchanges and work with them and go through their tech support to re-enable my authenticator. How do you do that? You have to have those seed keys or private keys or master keys. So that's why it's so important to have those written down, because if Authenticator doesn't work, they're going to ask you, well, what's your master key? What's your seed key to access our exchange? If you don't have it, you got to jump through a whole bunch of hoops. I've spent the last week trying to get through to Kraken, and for the first few days, they didn't do anything to help me. And I was just about to lose my mind because, as I mentioned, I got about $15,000 there, and I don't really want to lose that. So they finally got back to me, and it was a total pain in the butt. I literally had to write a document that says, I agree to the terms. I am now communicating with Kraken. I authorize this with my driver's license and picture, all one. I had to have my arms in the photo. Luckily, it all worked. I got access to my Kraken account and now reset up dual-factor authentication. That whole process could have been avoided if I just wrote down the master key that they provided me. Simple and easy. Now, that said, what I would encourage you to also not do is not just keep every password and username and master key and all these things written on one piece of paper where any crook who comes in your house can find it. I mean, this would be an extremely secure document that is very challenging to find for someone who doesn't know where it is. Let's see what else we have. Oh my God, I lost my phone. Coinbase, yes. It is a nightmare to fix it, especially if you don't have your seed key. Like I have my Coinbase seed key written down. It's covered in Scotch tape. It's protected. And that's just going to save me a lot of headache. The other part here is I would highly recommend for anybody, if you fall into this rabbit hole like Brendan or myself do, is you want to have a spreadsheet or something of what you own and where. At the beginning of this I had a lot of different accounts. I had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 accounts and 2 ledger devices. That was what I was holding. I mean, that to me, that's crazy to have all of that. And I started to lose track of things. Now, where is this master key? It's on their site. The master key, so Kraken calls it a master key. Coinbase calls it a seed. I believe it's called a seed. I wrote the name of it down because they all call them something different. They're essentially the same thing. A master key, a seed key. What did Coinbase call it? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head because I can't find my little piece of paper here. But yeah, it's usually under your account settings. They'll say master key, seed key, something along those lines. All right, yeah, I didn't find my Coinbase one, but anyway. I do this mentally, Merlin, but I collate my transactions through token text. Wow, that's tough. I mean, I'm glad you can do it. I can't. Here's another nightmare story. True story. I'm still living this nightmare right now. So I had a lot of different cryptocurrencies on an exchange called Poloniex. Poloniex shut down all U.S. accounts for whatever regulatory reason, not allowed to do any business in the U.S. So they gave this window of time where you had to move all your cryptocurrencies to some other exchange. So fortunate for me, actually Poloniex had a great selection too. Coinbase was anemic for many, many years. They just had nothing, like 3 or 4 different assets. Now they're growing, but they didn't have much before. So I was using Poloniex to get these we'll say, obscure coins that were a little bit different than normal. So one of the cryptocurrencies that Poloniex offered was called Monero. Now, Monero is one of these questionable ones because Monero is all about privacy. It has all kinds of, it's called a ring algorithm, and it's designed to make transactions anonymous so you don't know who's buying what or where funds have gone. Basically, if you want to wash your money and make it disappear, you'd use something like Zcash or Monero, which are anonymous. So don't use Bitcoin if you're doing anything illegal. Anyway, because I was under this deadline, I sent my Monero to one of my accounts. You know, I think it's $5,900 worth of Monero. I don't know where I sent it. I'm admitting I'm an idiot right now, and it's been driving me crazy. I have one other exchange I want to check, but I'm having issues because I lost my authenticator, which is Binance. I may have sent it over to Binance because they allow Monero, but a lot of places don't allow Monero. Coinbase, no Monero. You look at different wallets like the Jax wallet or Bread wallet, which I use, no Monero. So yeah, I'm always document where you send things because at this point, nobody's going to come calling and say, hey, do you have about $6,000 worth of Monero? It ended up in my account. I'm an idiot. I'm raising my hand here. Anyway, those are just stupid things that I have done. Now, let me explain another very dumb thing, and I'm going to actually show you exactly what I did. It's one of those ones I like to think that things are designed in an efficient manner. Unfortunately, this was not. So let me show you this. One of my colleagues thought it would be a great idea for his family, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. I still do. Unfortunately, our timing was off. Was to give his family some cryptocurrency. So he said, I want to send each one of them $150 worth of Litecoin. He says, can you do that for me? And I said, I got you. No problem. I'll do it. I will move the funds around because I had a whole bunch of Litecoin at the time. And I said, I will just simply create paper wallets for you. You give those as gifts, and then you just pay me back. Okay, no problem. So here's what I did. And if you get lost in this part, make sure you ask me because it's pretty important what I'm going to show you right here. What I'm looking at right here is it a paper wallet generator, right? It's a real simple application. You basically just create a paper wallet, and on the left-hand side is your public address. That's basically your bank account. The second one is over here is your private key. That's your secret number. You don't want to give this to anybody. This number down here is the gateway to this account. Without it, you get nothing. With it, you get it all or portions or whatever you want. So as I was creating these, I made this bigger so you guys hopefully can all see the numbers. Notice that the public address, and I'll just read the first three letters so you guys can see it, is capital L, lowercase e, capital S, right? So I basically went from my Litecoin account and I was going to send $150 to this address. But this doesn't look very pretty. What's nice about this site is they have this little tab here called Paper Wallet. And what you do is you simply print this out, and then it all folds up nice and neat into this little gift part. So I thought, oh, that's cool. So we did it in color. That would be a great gift, right? So what I did, see if anybody can spot the mistake here. Because this was clear and easy to see, I sent $150 to this public address, and I thought, okay, I'll just print it out. And I hit print. But you notice the public address here is capital L, capital P, capital G. It's different from page to page. So what happened is I sent $150 to this address, which has the private key, and then I printed this out, which is, there's nothing here, no money at these addresses. And I went back and I created another address. And I made 3 wallets for this guy. And on the third one, you can't go back. It wouldn't go back and let me go back to the previous wallet. So basically, there are 2 wallets right now sitting out there in space that have $150 on them, $150 worth of Bitcoin or Litecoin at the time, which was 1/2 of a Bitcoin, that I will never get back. That money completely disappeared. So the long story short here with addresses is, anytime you're sending something, there's 2 things I want to make sure you understand. Exactly where you're sending it to. You make sure it's the right address. You know, I think I had another graphic up here. Okay, here is lost and gone forever. I mean, the odds of anybody ever accessing that money it's infinitesimally small. You're much better odds of winning the lottery like 5 times in a row. Literally 5 consecutive draws winning the lottery 5 times in a row, the jumbo jackpot, your odds are better of that than actually guessing the private key to this address. I know, it's crazy. So what I have here is the public key and private key. So if you're sending something to any public key, never type in the keys. I've told you guys this before, and I actually, in the cryptocurrency class that I built for Online Trading Academy, I had my developer build a website where I simply ask you to type in a public key, and then I put that key up on the screen. About 30% of people typed it in wrong. 30%. And it's like, why did you get it wrong? Because it's capital, lowercase, it's all over the place, and it's so long, you forget any one word here. Yes, Tom, are you talking about my Litecoin example? Yeah, that's a programmer mess. That's an absolute programmer mess up. This single wallet here should be the same number on this screen right here. And that's what I assume. That's just me thinking that the developer, designer of this webpage, used his brain. It's just really crazy. Bobby says keys seem too long. They are, and that's the that's the whole point. That's the whole point of having this so large, is it's impossible to guess it or even have a computer hack it. Now, you can do something, it's called a brain key, which basically you would come up with your own phrase. So let's say you wrote, your phrase was, I think TraderMerlin is the best show on YouTube. You could use that phrase and generate a wallet from it. So that's an easier way. They call it a brain key. The danger here is you have one of those senior moments, as I'm starting to call them, where you're like, oh man, did I say Merlin Rothfeld is the greatest show on YouTube? Or was it TraderMerlin is the greatest show on YouTube? Or was it a good show? Or was it the shittiest show? I can't remember what I said. You mess up on any part of that, again, you'll never access that money. So as difficult as it may seem, Bobby, to me, it's a security measure. There's a reason those private keys are so long. And let's be honest, you're not going to ever type this private key in. Let me go back to the bigger screen. You're never going to send this in. You're going to scan a QR code. So my recommendation for anybody, if you're ever sending any amount and you copy and paste, just check that the first 3 letters are correct and the last 3 are correct on the address that you're sending to. The reason for that is I'm not worried about the middle being cut off, but sometimes, when you copy and paste, Bobby said, never use that phrase. Fine, Bobby. When you copy and paste, sometimes the end letters get left off, or the beginning, you cut at the wrong spot. So that's why I always check the front and back when I copy and paste something, just to make sure, and again, you send it the wrong address, it is gone forever. I've actually seen it where friends have sent money through like a Venmo to the wrong address, and then you can send a message and say, hey, I'm sorry, could you send it back? And those people will send it back. But I'll tell you what, you know who the end person is on Venmo. You know who the end person is on Zelle if you send to the wrong address. If all of a sudden I look at my Nano Ledger S, and let's say I have which one is it? So they're numbered. This one has Ethereum on it, right? And I have 55 Ethereum on here. If I log in tomorrow and there's 60 Ethereum, you think I'm going to do the homework and track them down and be like, I don't even know who it is. Just send it back to some random address? Not going to happen. Sorry, folks. That's stuck on my key. So, yeah, you always want to make sure you're sending the right thing. Let's see. Big Up says, Merlin, I have a 24-word key for my ledger, but I did hear you say that you have one for your Coinbase Pro. I believe Coinbase calls it their seed key, which is like the ultimate access to get back in. And you should be able to get that seed key once you're logged in. There should be a seed key there somewhere. All right. What other questions you guys have? I saw a whole bunch of stuff was going through here earlier. Losing my phone was so traumatic. I don't even have two-factor authentication right now. Well, it's been a real pain. So I'm still dealing with authentication issues for Binance. So I'm trying to get logged back into Binance, where, fingers crossed, that's where I sent this Monero, and then I'll be really happy about that. Unfortunately, it is a real pain. And you can transfer your settings from Authenticator to another device. You're supposed to copy it all over, but for some reason it didn't stay with mine. A bizarre one. Here's another example of why you want to keep that seed key. So I've shown you guys this many times. I have this app, and I really like this one. It's simple. It's just called Bread. If it loads up there, it's like the rainbow flavor right now. What's going on? Now, of course, the time I want to show you, it doesn't work. But I've shown you this one before, which is, it's a BRD. It's just the wallet for my phone. And I don't keep a lot on there. Of course, it's grown. There you go. So there's your bread wallet. This one, it did an update for the app. I don't know. I just updated all the apps on my phone. And all of a sudden, I had to re-log in. And it said, what's your seed key? I'm like, oh my God, I lost this money. It wasn't too much. I mean, right now it's 24 grand. I'll keep that. But if I didn't have that seed key, I may have potentially lost all that money forever. Unless I really figured out how to get a hold of Brad and all the developers and find out how to get back into that account. So again, seed keys, guys, are so unbelievably important. Let's see. Oh, I say, Brendan, you say lost 2 Ethereum on a bad ICO. You know what? But that was part of the risk, right? When you bought a bad ICO, that's a gamble. You're taking a chance that new ICO is going to be the next great thing. Most of the stuff like that's not mistakes, but that's just cost of doing business. It's an investment idea that didn't poke out. This stuff I'm going over is like basic dumb stuff that people can do on accident and all of a sudden lose their accounts and stuff. That to me is critical. Sending your critical stuff I'll make sure it gets the right place. Yes. Yeah, we don't want to make any red flags in the IRS out there. Robert says, do I use TradeStation for crypto? No, I do not. You know what? It's there. I just haven't even dabbled with TradeStation crypto, to be honest. I think I've bought what I want to acquire in cryptos over the years. I'm pretty much set. It goes back to a listener comment that was sent in saying, hey, look, I'm already up significantly on my Bitcoin position. What about selling 25% and just letting the rest go? Because, it's moved up so much. That's a great idea. Especially this gentleman was saying that if he pulls out that 25% of the current value, that's his cost basis. So basically now you're just playing with house money. To me, that's a great idea. I actually was debating it as well because I do think you'll see a sell-off in Bitcoin, and it doesn't mean it's going to zero. It just means there's a new buying opportunity for me at a lower price. So why not sell some at 40, buy back in? But I decided my goal was 100,000 on this, so I think I would really... I think that I'm just going to wait for it to get to 100. But at 100, I'll probably do similar to what you were mentioning, which is I'll sell a portion of it and let that second half ride. What else have we got? I think we'll wind up at $200,000, not sure when. And I think they will have... Yes. And that's exactly what I was just saying, Brendan. It's like you're going to have these big... So like it could go from 40 to 20. I mean, look, it's gone from 20,000 to 40,000 in a period of under a month. That's nuts. What goes up could come down very quickly, and certainly it's getting a lot more regulatory attention right now, which could make it a little more risky. Show you how long I've been where did you? Last I checked, I was where'd it go? Oh my goodness, it's moving so quickly. Oh yeah, it's been a while, Medic. And this is something that I've done as well. So Brendan says I sold a bunch of something valuable to buy nothing and push the wrong button. I've done this too, guys. Part of the fun of crypto, and I know, Brendan, you're a big fan of this. You're probably more into this than me, is there are so many unique projects coming out each day in the crypto sphere, whether it's a DeFi project, whether it's something about using cryptography for personal identities or voter registration, whether it's a decentralized shopping network or some weird token. There's all these great ideas that at some point down the road may be the next Google, may be the next Amazon, who knows, but you're taking that gamble. And of course, doing that, we are taking on that implied risk, and we have to know that it's going to be that risky. So I've done it as well. I've got a few coins that initially I was said $1,000 each. I think I bought like 6 or 7 that were worth $1,000 at the time, and most of them have dropped precipitously. Just real quick, I'll show you my portfolio. I wanted to show you this one and make sure all my numbers are gone here. All right, there, I think. So this is how mine's distributed. Obviously, this run up in Bitcoin right now has really vaulted this the weightings of my portfolio, and I probably should diversify a little bit, but I still think that for me personally, Bitcoin is going to be the biggest gainer by far. I think Ethereum is a very close second. I'm surprised that Litecoin has done so well, but you guys can see my top 3 holdings: 44% Bitcoin, 21% Ethereum, 15% Litecoin. Right now I'm 6% cash because I sold out of one Bitcoin a few weeks back to buy some Ripple, but you notice my Ripple position is almost zero now. It's only 2%, EOS 2.9. So just wanted to show you there's a couple in here that are trash, right? There's a couple in here that probably aren't going to do much, and you can't even see them. They're in here. Those being ones like, I have some Stellar Lumens in there. Civic is one of the coins that I own. I own one called Expanse. I've owned a bunch of different stuff out there, but you know, I feel like the bulk of my capital should be on the main stable ones that I feel the strongest about, and then I dabbled in some of these other ones that are just a risk play, the high flyer that I'm hoping at some point turns into the next Bitcoin. So, all right, what else is good? Robert says, I'm just looking to get into it and discovered TradeStation offered it. Seems to have better rates than Coinbase. Yeah, and that's something I'm going to probably do a special segment on at another date. I'm moving a lot of cryptocurrencies around right now, and I noticed that Coinbase has a half a percentage point fee, whereas if I go through Kraken, it's only 0.15. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but saving 0.35 on several $100,000, that adds up to some real money. So I will probably be doing that as well, shuffling funds when I want to convert back into US dollars and pull some money out of this. I'll go through to exchanges that I know are going to give me a much better deal and much better rate of return. That's a great point. All right, let's see, what else do I have here? No Doge, no. You know my feeling on Doge. It's an absolute joke, right? Doge is, anyway. No, I don't own any. I actually did in the past on Exodus, which I no longer have access to because I don't have my private my key. I'm gonna melt that cube, buddy. I gotta get that cube going. All right, what else we got? For me, top holdings still Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yep, I think that they're the top dogs. All right, what else I want to get to? So never type your key, copy check the front and back. The other thing that's important here, and I've mentioned this to many of you that watch the show regularly, but some of you might be new. If you're sending money from one exchange to another or to another person, I always start small. Send $1. Right? It's not like you pay this flat commission. It's going to be a really small fee anyway. So send $1. Make sure it arrives, especially if you're sending out big money. Just because, again, if you send it to the wrong address, there is no help desk. There is no customer support that you can call out and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I sent it to the wrong person. It's like going to your neighbor's house because the mail was delivered to you. No, you lose that forever. What else? I talked about brain wallets. Other big learning lessons for me are not really learning lessons, but I think one of the challenges with it all is that fear of missing out. I think many of you are probably in that boat right now going, oh, I missed the boat on Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin or these other ones. I don't think so. I think you have a lot more upside potential. It's difficult when you have somebody like Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan saying, hey, this is a scam. I would never have anybody work for my company that's trading or investing in Bitcoin. Yeah, they came out a couple days ago and said our price target's $146,000. You think that they're going to look at an asset that's currently trading at 40, who has a potential to get to 146, and they don't own any? Liars. All right, what other questions you guys have for me on the crypto front? I wanted to go through those real basic pieces because to me that's where I think a lot of people make huge fundamental mistakes is not writing down their private key or their seed codes, their master keys, whatever that backup key phrase may be. Those to me are some of the more important pieces in the crypto space just because the headaches that are involved in trying to claim your money if you don't have those numbers. Medic said it's about altcoin season. Well, think of this. It might seem like it's altcoin season, but you know what? It's interesting. To get altcoins, what do people have to do? Most exchanges, including Coinbase, they don't let you buy dollars into, like a Tron or an EOS. You have to buy a Bitcoin. It used to be only Bitcoin. Sometimes it would be Ethereum. But you used to have to buy Bitcoin to buy the altcoin. So what's great about that is you say it's altcoin season. Well, a lot of people have to buy Bitcoin to buy those altcoins. Which does what to the price of Bitcoin? It drives it up further. So that's really how I got all of those extra positions that you guys see. Every single one of these was bought with Bitcoin. Right? I bought Bitcoin and I had to convert it and sell it to buy some Monero or Litecoin or Stellar, whatever the case may be. So, but some countries are letting you pay taxes. Yes, that's an interesting one. I'll be honest. Brennan, you bring up a good point. He says some countries are letting you pay taxes in crypto. Would you want to pay your taxes in crypto? Because I think that the price of cryptos are going to do pretty much exclusively go up over time. So I'd rather pay my taxes in fiat currency than pay taxes in US dollar, than crypto. And the reason for that is this. If you look at the price appreciation of the US dollar over the past 42 weeks, not even a year, the US dollar has dropped 13%. That's a 13% decline in the value of what I have in my wallet, in my literal physical dollar wallet. These guys right here, it was $20, but now because of the deflation of the US dollar, it's now really worth 80 something, 90 something dollars. That's a waste. Bitcoin, in the exact same period that the US dollar has fallen 13%, is up over 400. So I'm not going to pay my taxes in crypto, which I feel are going to have a greater appreciation, when I can sell some of my crypto, buy US dollars and pay that in that fiat. I'd rather just pay that in the dollars. Get that fiat. Cash is trash, as Brendan says out here. Let's look at the Bitcoin chart and analyze. Oh God, what do you want to analyze this thing for? To the moon, Alice. I feel like it's an old episode of The Honeymooners, right? To the moon. All right, here's a 5-minute chart of Bitcoin. I'll make it full screen. Really not a lot to analyze here. I mean, the tough part is, what do you do? I mean, it's gone parabolic, and you guys know my take on parabolic things. Normally, I am getting out because I look at some of these gaps here, and this is, of course, the futures. You guys know if you look at a Bitcoin chart, you will not have gaps like this. This is because of overnight, right? This is weekend stuff in the futures market. It doesn't happen on a regular Bitcoin exchange. So, because it's 24/7, 365. I look at this and this scares me right away because I see some huge unfilled gaps on this. Now, it's obviously been rallying to the upside and keeps on going. The challenge here is it's so volatile. Like if I was to let's see if I can put on average true range here. I think I might have it enabled. Average true range. This thing's moving $2,800 a day. That's its average, $2,800. I mean, that's, let's see, $2 would be 5%. Or sorry, no, more than that. 10% would be 4,000. So yeah, this is moving about, let's call it 7%, somewhere in there, right around 7% a day. That volatility is tough, and you have to really be careful here because part of me says, you know what, move your stop loss up every day and just trail this thing to the upside. There's multiple ways that I've experienced over the years people trading and using stops on something that's this volatile. And one of the easy ones is this. You simply go and you put your stop loss amongst the low of the previous day. So let me go forward here. We'll do a what if scenario. And I'm going to just move my stop loss up so there's the low of that candle, right? So the next day I'll move forward one. All right, I'm just going to move it up now and keep moving that stop loss up every day until it breaks down below it. Almost got me stopped out there. And notice I'm simply moving it up every day to the new low. Now this works in something that's great and had a really strong trend, right? So this would have worked all the way from 25. Now it's up to 30 something. Still going. So this is a way that you could easily implement a stop loss system, because I think trailing stops might not work as well. So you technically would still be in this one, even though it had that huge intraday sell-off the other day. It was one of the more impressive intraday sell-offs. I'll bring it up for those of you who might not have seen it. Here's your 5-minute chart of Bitcoin, and let's go back. Look, this sell-off right over here on the left-hand side of your chart, that is huge. I mean, it went from 41,000 all the way down to a low of 37. That's 10% drop in about an hour, half an hour. Pretty crazy out there. So technically, my gut would say if this was any other security, I'd say dump it. Lock in some profits and get out. Move on. You made some great profits. Just move on. Because it's Bitcoin and because my focus for Bitcoin and cryptos in particular is I'm looking at multiple years down the road, I'm just going to keep it. I'm going to, and when it gets to 100,000, I told myself I would sell. I'll probably sell a good portion of my position, but I'll look to buy back in once this thing drops. And I think Brendan's right. You look down here, I think 20,000 is a pretty solid stopping point for this thing for multiple reasons. Not only was it this area that we broke through from December, but it's also the previous all-time high. So I think that from a longer term perspective, it definitely has the potential to drop 50% from here, which is crazy to think about, but I'd be okay with that simply because it would allow me to buy back in. I'm a little disappointed because last week, as this thing was ripping to the south side, it had that really big sell. I think it was Monday, actually. I was looking at buying back in, and I just was like, no, wait for it to fall further. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen, and I ended up not buying back in with that $24,000 I wanted to. But it's okay. It is what it is. Brandon says 20,000 buy. Yeah. What is the best wallet to buy? Well, first off, it depends on what you're looking to do here. So it's a good question, Bobby. Remember, there's 3 different ways that you can hold cryptos. Number 1 is going to be on an exchange. The danger of an exchange is the exchange, like Coinbase, like Binance, they own your private keys. So in theory, in principle, you don't own anything, right? You don't own anything. It's just like saying the money in your bank account, do you own that? No, the bank actually owns that. It's theirs. You just have an IOU from the bank that your money is in their bank. They're literally holding the assets. So if you have a Coinbase account like I do, Coinbase, should they for some reason decide to just magically disappear tomorrow, they have your private keys. They own that crypto. So that to me is a danger. I don't hold my big positions on an exchange. The other 2 ways you could do, well, 3 ways really. One would be a software wallet like the Bread wallet I have on my phone. They're okay, they're fine, but I find that things connected to the internet are much more vulnerable to being hacked. My phone, for some reason, somebody could get into my phone if they're a super good hacker and go through there, maybe find my facial recognition to open up that account or something. I don't trust it. So I'm not a big fan of keeping big amounts there either. I initially put it, I think it was a couple $1,000s on this Bread wallet, and it's grown to be a lot more. I may move some off. It's only on my phone because I wanted to be ready to use it for transactional purchases to help support the cryptocurrency movement. Meaning, if I go to a restaurant and they allow Bitcoin payments, I'm going to do my best to pay in Bitcoin. The other 2 ways are what we talked about, and make sure this is not a live. I think this is a zeroed one. Well, I can bring up the screen as opposed to showing you my real ones. I'm worried that if I show you one, you might scan it and take the money off it. So, the other ones are like this, these paper wallets. I'm a big fan of paper wallets. I know some people are going, no, God, no paper wallets. Well, you know what? I think that I think that they're a great way because you can print this out, you can send it, and this now resides at your home. The challenge I have about anybody looking to a paper wallet is because I'm using this right now. So you can all see this. It's connected to the internet, which means for some reason, if there's a dormant bug in my computer that's just simply taking periodic screenshots of my screen, they would now have access to my public address and my private address, and they would have access to anything that I sent to this address. So what I do is you can go here, guys. I can't actually show it to you because I was hiding the addresses from my portfolio. Let me real quick move this down. Okay. So you guys see right here, let me go up one more. There's these 3 dots. If you click on those 3 dots, you can say more tools and save page as. What you can do is you save this page onto a thumb drive, USB drive, whatever you want to call it, and then I would recommend going to a computer that is not connected to the internet. I have a cheap laptop. It's now, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years old now. I don't use it. It just sits here and collects dust. Well, you know what I do? I fire it up. It takes forever, right? You can almost like kickstarting a Harley Davidson when this thing turns over. But I fire that one up. It's not connected to Wi-Fi, no Ethernet cable. I plug in the US drive, and then I do this exact same process. I open up that browser from the thumb drive, and I create my paper wallets. I print them as well from a computer who is not connected to the internet or from a printer, because I do not want that connectivity. That to me is the best way to keep it safe and private. Let me know if you have any questions on that one. The third way, which I recommend the most, is if you have big amounts, like, I mentioned I got 55 Ethereum on this one. I've got quite a few Bitcoin on this one. These are 2 very, very expensive devices right now, but they're in my possession. Even if someone was to get a hold of this and steal it, they're not gonna be able to access it. They'd have to access it to get past my PIN code on here first, and if you do it multiple times and you're wrong, it locks you out. So I would say do these ones. Do these guys get an external drive? I have no problem with the Nano Ledger S, other than they got hacked recently. Brendan, I think he's a Ledger guy. Not Ledger. What's it called? Not Trezor? I think it's a Trezor wallet. Yeah, I think he's a Trezor guy. There's other ones out there, but Nano and Trezor are the two main ones in the hardware wallet. If you are looking to be very active and hold large positions, be a hodler, get one of those devices. That's the best way to go. All right, what else do I have here? Don't trust my phone. Yeah, I don't trust my phone either. How would you transfer crypto from Coinbase to a thumb drive? Well, there's multiple ways you can do that. So I'm going to go back to my Coinbase here. And let's go back to full screen. And let's say I wanted to, right up here at the top, it says send and receive. I click send and receive. Oh, it's already going to ask me to log in again. Hey, you get the example twice. Now I got to go through my two-factor authentication once again. Let's go to Authenticator, and I'll put in my Coinbase code, which now has changed to 278. All right, verify. Okay, so once you're in here, you go to send and receive, and of course, I want to send, so you would pick, oh, they now actually allow you to do it to a mobile email address. Nice. You would copy in that code here, right, or paste it. This is XLM. I don't want to use XLM. I want to do, let's just say we go to Bitcoin. So you select your currency. I'm now on Bitcoin. I go send and receive, and I'm going to send some. You can now copy in that QR code from your device. So when you open up your Nano Ledger or Trezor, it will show you a little QR code for your account. You can copy that code over, pay with Stellar Lumens, but that's it. It's pretty simple. You just make sure you put the right address in here. It's the same thing with Pro. I showed you my Coinbase Pro account. Pro. It may have me log in. I'm going to just go over here. 1 second. Let me just go off screen so I can log into this one because I think some stuff is displayed. The beauty of showing are the real accounts with real money. That's a little nerve-wracking at times. All right, so there it is. So I'm logged in here. This is Coinbase Pro. It's the same thing. You'll see right here, there's two buttons that says withdraw. So let's say right now, let's just go to, I'll go to Bitcoin because that's what I have, or Litecoin because I have Litecoin in this one. So right now you can see I have 304 Litecoin right here. I could simply say withdraw, and it'll ask me where do I want to send it. I can send it to, I'm going to send some Litecoin, and then where? I can send it to a crypto address. So how would I send it to the Nano Ledger S is when you open that app, it will ask you what, it'll give you your Litecoin address or whatever cryptocurrency address you want. That's a great point I want to get to is you cannot send Bitcoin to a Litecoin account. If you do it, that Bitcoin is gone forever. Just so you know that. If you send any cryptocurrency that's not the same cryptocurrency to a different address, it will be gone forever, even if you have the private key to that account. So make sure that if you're sending Litecoin, it goes to a Litecoin address. Don't send it to a Bitcoin address or you'll lose it. Scary stuff, I know, but that's the basic. All right, let me see if I got. I just don't keep a lot of money either on exchanges or hot wallets. Yep, exactly. Brennan and I are in the same camp here. Both of us don't trust these financial institutions, so I'm doing my best to not keep a lot of money on those big exchanges. I actually personally, I think I have too much sitting on this exchange on Coinbase Pro, but yeah, it is what it is. I think it's a little heavy for me. I didn't want to get over like 30,000 on any exchange, and now that's a good problem to have. I'm over that. Let's see. I just don't keep it. Okay, Google Get First, very helpful. What happens to that coin? It disappears, which it's hard for me to understand. It's like, well, shouldn't the transaction bounce back? The transaction should bounce back, but it from what I've understood, and I'm not going to test it out, guys, that coin is gone forever, which is one of the reasons I'm so bullish on Bitcoin, because if you're sending Bitcoin to, let's say I took 10 Bitcoin, right? That's $400,000, and I send that to a Litecoin address. In theory, those Bitcoin disappear. They're in that address, but now because the programming is different, they're not there. They're supposed to be there, but they're not. So that's a weird one for me. Think about that. If I send 10 Bitcoin to the wrong address, those are now out of circulation. So we talk about inflation, meaning there's an emission of new Bitcoin every day because of the miners, and it's getting slower. But there's also this thing where you have more people are losing cryptocurrency, right? Sending to the wrong address, forgetting private keys. I got my, my hardware wallet drops on my phone. That's gone. So it's interesting for me over time. What I think you'll see is the supply will actually be declining on a daily basis. Even though the miners are creating new cryptocurrency, I think the amount of supply will actually be dropping. And of course, when you have supply drop and demand skyrocketing, that's why you're seeing cryptocurrency do what it's done. Yeah, I agree, Bobby. I mean, but here's the thing. He says that they need to fix that somehow. They do, but we need to take it upon ourselves to not make that mistake. Right? And this is why you have to be extra vigilant about everything you do in cryptos, far more than trading stocks or futures or options or anything like that. Right? You really have to make sure, because you are essentially your own bank. I think Brendan commented on that earlier. This is what makes it so appealing, is we are our own banks. I think I showed you guys, I have a BlockFi account, and Brendan, you probably have a BlockFi account too, right? Let me real quickly set in here. I think maybe I'll log in real quick, because I told you I sent over a Bitcoin to BlockFi just to test out and try out this concept, which is it's yield farming. It's basically making money on my crypto that's just sitting there doing nothing, right? Let me real quickly, because I have to go to my authenticator here for BlockFi. All right, let me just log in here. Just I want to make sure that no account numbers are exposed. I know I'm showing you real accounts, but I got to be careful somehow. So yeah, here's another one. This is BlockFi. I have this sitting here, but right now it's making about 6% interest. So I've already received for the month of December, which was less than a month, $142 in interest. I question all of you right now. How much have you made $142 in interest on your savings or checking account in all of 2020? I'm pretty sure not one person in here made that kind of interest, because you're probably getting less than 1% in your savings or checking accounts right now. So for me, it's like, I'm going to hold this Bitcoin no matter what. This Bitcoin here is not going to move. But what's nice about it is I'm now getting 6% on that Bitcoin on an annual basis. And it's just accruing up. So well, why not? We'll just leave that thing there. It's like an extra little 6% bump I'm going to get each year on it. That's great. All right. Let's see. I hear that the new IRS tax form for 2020, there is a question on crypto purchase and sales. I heard that too. My CPA was like, look, when you make all the transactions, then we'll report them. And I'm going to report all mine. I'm going to be above board. I certainly don't want to mess with the IRS. I'm okay to pay taxes on it. I'd rather keep it all, but anyway, yes, I've heard that as well. I'll let you know, because I'm going to try to do my taxes earlier this year. Who collects the money then? Dana, are you talking on that Bitcoin transaction where I sent to the wrong wallet? It disappears. No one collects it. It's gone. Or are you talking about the BlockFi one? Sorry, I'm going over so many topics right now. I'm losing my train of thought. Probably a good idea to test and transfer small amounts, 100%. I told the audience the other day, my largest single transaction was $70,000 worth of Litecoin, and literally I was like this. I'm just shaking. I'm sweating, freaking out, because I'm like, what if I typed one number wrong, or the A was capitalized and should have been lowercase? It's gone forever. So yeah, I was freaking out. I really was freaking out about that. Yeah, I think DeFi is. I'm a little so. One of the things maybe I'll do a show on. I'm gonna see if I can find some guys that work for these DeFi exchanges, so they can do their sales pitch and see what I think of it. But DeFi, decentralized finance, right? You look at a movie like The Social Network, which I encourage everybody to watch. The Social Network. It really is telling about what's going on around our world and how social media now runs us. And we're the commodity. You and me are the commodities. They are selling our information. Well, banks are no different. Instead of Facebook and Google, who are selling information, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, they're selling our money, right? They're taking that. Let's say I have this $40,000 sitting in a checking account or savings account at the bank. They're taking a large portion, if not all of that, giving me a promise that it's there, and they're loaning that out to somebody, and they're collecting interest on it for free. Why can't I do the same thing? That's really what the DeFi movement is. It's saying, look, screw the banks. Screw Wells Fargo, who's always doing shady things. Screw Chase or Bank of America, who's going to try to crush homeowners during the 2008 market collapse. Go out there and do it all on your own, right? Take your capital, invest in some crypto. Maybe there's a bunch of different ones offering attractive yields, and now earn a rate of return on that. What makes me nervous is these yields are impressive. I mean, some of them are offering 50% rate of return for a year. And I know, having traded for so long, that you don't get a 50% rate of return without taking a lot of risk. That's dangerous to me. So I'm still learning about the DeFi yield farming, as they like to call it, but certainly I'm putting my money where my mouth is and trying some out. I think I did a bunch of research on BlockFi. Seem to be one of the safer ones out there. There's a few others. But yeah, BlockFi idea is pretty good. Yeah. And Bobby, he says, I love BlockFi idea, but I want my keys. Well, you know who owns that Bitcoin right now? BlockFi, because it's sitting on their exchange. So I'm trusting that they're going to be around, but I'm looking at a lot of the projects they're doing. They're trying to grow that business and grow that bigger. So I'm okay with it for now. I was going to send more because I have more Bitcoin than that. I wanted to just kind of, why not get an extra 6%? But hey, if I'm going to get $140 a month just to let that sit there on top of whatever gains and appreciation, bring it on. I'm in. Merlin, why only 24 likes? I don't know, Jorge. I'm not much of a face to look at. I'm not a good solicitor, but hey, if people don't like it, they usually just tune out. But most of you guys like it. All right, what else do we have? Dr. Bonnie, I have a Coinbase. Yeah, I haven't messed with GBTC. I'd rather own the physical one. And Bonnie, about owning GBTC in a Roth, why not? You're basically getting access to the price movement of Bitcoin. Again, we've talked about the premium issue that you generally will pay with GBTC. I think if you time your entry right, you can probably get a better buy on it. Right now, you're paying about a $6,000 or $5,000 premium to buy GBTC, which is basically it's a trust, guys, that owns physical Bitcoin. They own a lot of it right now too. All right. You won't hear much good on GBTC except from me. No. Look, Tom, I always badmouth. The only reason I'm badmouthing is because why not just buy Bitcoin, right? GBTC certainly is a great way to access it. You're paying a 2% service fee on top of whatever premium or discount you're paying to regular market Bitcoin. That's the only reason. So why not save yourself 2% just buy Bitcoin? But again, opening a cryptocurrency exchange can be challenging for many people. All right. Yeah, Tom, that's a good question. He says, I noticed buy crypto has appeared on PayPal. What are your thoughts on PayPal for crypto? I'm fine with it. I'm totally fine. I saw that too, and I actually was going to buy some, but I think one of the issues was, let me just real quickly bring it up. Oh man, I forget where I have my PayPal. I think that the challenge I had with it was the fees. So I'm bringing up my PayPal account right now. There is literally a crypto button on the front page. I'm going to click buy Bitcoin. Oh crap. I have to put in a password? Who puts in passwords anymore? All right, 1 second. And so I got to get that password in there. All right, I think I got it. I think that the fee, there's a pretty significant fee. So let's say I want to go and buy $100 worth. Okay. Oh, it didn't. I'm not going to do it. It's the fees. I'm afraid to do it. All right, let's click on it. Okay, so to buy $100, there's a $2.30 transaction fee on that Bitcoin. That's not too bad. It's about 2.3%. So to me, that's a steep fee. Let's go back and see what happens if I want to buy a lot more than that. What if I want to buy, let's see what my maximum is. Let's go buy, and I'll do 10,000. See if it should be $230. Next, it says it's $150. So to buy a $10,000 position, it's $150. That's a 1.5% fee. I love this because what it's doing is it's now allowing the retail investor to simply and quickly and efficiently buy cryptocurrency. Fantastic for the industry as a whole. But the fees are expensive, right? 2.5% for a small amount. If I bought 10,000 at 1.5%, why not just go to somebody like Kraken and pay 0.15%? I mean, grand scheme of things, you have to think about those numbers. They do add up over time. Are you going to take us with you? You know what? I think the Coinbase IPO will probably be one of the hottest IPOs in the last decade. I really think that that's going to be one of those ones that if you can find a way to get in at the strike price before it actually gets to market, man, you got a golden ticket there. Unfortunately, I don't know anybody in that space. I'm not really much on the hanging out with rubbing elbows with investment bankers, so it's not my thing. But if you have access to it, I would probably say if you can buy it at the original strike price, buy some. I think that IPO is going to be through the roof because now you have a fully legitimate crypto exchange, publicly traded, that just solidifies their role in the industry, and I think that's going to skyrocket. So, all right, what else do I got? A new coming in general. Brendan has a point. Brendan always has points. Which one, Salvador? Let's see. I'm going to try to read Brendan's here. Merlin, I'm waiting 6 months regarding Coinbase. There is still a lockup period and people making exits. Yep. Not only is that, but you know, they went down the other day. So I think that there's definitely some issues there with its infrastructure. I was joking with one of the guys, he's a writer on Yahoo. He was tweeting about it. And I said, I hope that some of their IPO money goes to infrastructure and scalability, because when I started off day trading back in the late 90s, the trading applications couldn't handle the volume when markets were in panic. And the same thing happened yesterday. It wasn't a panic moment, it was a greed moment that shut down those exchanges, and it was a lot of them, right? It wasn't just Coinbase, it was multiple exchanges shutting down because the volume was just off the charts. You know what? They're going to have to fix that, because you want to be the king, your system should never go down. And Coinbase has gone down quite a few times over the past few years. All right. What else? Is futures the only way to short? Yes. Well, futures is one way. I know that BitMEX has like a leverage option where you can short cryptocurrencies. All the exchanges I trade on don't allow me to short. So, plus, I ain't shorting crypto. I forget what it's called, but the SPAC trend is huge. Yep. Yes. We can do a whole different thing on SPACs. Well, let me see what time it is. I'm already past time, guys. See, give me a nice glass of whiskey and get me talking crypto. There we go. All right. Let me go and show you just kind of what's happening for Monday's trading session. Today's market news really wasn't that interesting. We did have the unemployment numbers, or non-farm employment change, which showed a contraction, which obviously was not good. Next week we have some pretty big retail sales numbers coming out, so this doesn't bode well. It was interesting to see non-farm employment change, you can see right there, drop a little bit from 60 to 140 negative, but unemployment rate dropped slightly. So this will probably start to tick back up in the next month's reading. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But really, that's all we had out there for today's market. For Monday's session, the 11th, you really don't have too much big stuff. You've got retail sales monitor for the British pound. But other than that, nothing really big for the U.S. So I think that's kind of a non-event. But I wanted to show you that before we wrap up here. Let's see. No, Gary's big weekend plans. My weekend plans are going to be staying home, maybe do a little game night. No problem, Bobby. Glad you could join us, and thanks for the participation. Mike, I'll talk about BAKKT a little bit. It's think of it as an exchange, if you will, but run by some really top-notch people, and I'll do more detail on that one a little bit later on. Approaching 1 hour. I know, Big Ed. We passed it. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for me. Is it possible to trade Bitcoin in the Forex markets? No. I mean, you're dealing with a digital currency versus actual fiat currency. So there isn't... when you say trade in the Forex markets, in theory, when you buy it, you are trading it in the Forex market, right? So here's how Forex works for those that don't know. A currency pair has two names to it. So let's say it's the USD JPY. So I'm going to bring up a chart here. I'll bring up full screen. And we go USD JPY. Okay, so here is the USD JPY. That's the US dollar against the Japanese yen. So all that means is the first number, the first three letters, USD, that means you're buying this one. So if I bought this USD JPY, I'm buying the dollar and I'm selling the Japanese yen. That's all this is. Well, if you look at Coinbase Pro, and how about GBP USD? In this case, if I bought this one, I'm buying GBP and selling USD. If I sold this currency pair, I'm selling GBP and buying USD. So the first one's really the basis of the transaction. Now, let's look at Coinbase Pro real quick, just because I think it was a great question that came in. And where's Coinbase Pro? You see right here at the top corner, LTC USD. So if I were to buy this, I'd buy Litecoin and sell dollars. So in theory, Salvador, it is the Forex market. Really, you're not on a typical exchange like you would be, but I'm trading Litecoin for US dollars, and that in essence would be a Forex exchange. Here's all the different cross pairs. So I can trade Bitcoin Cash for US dollars, EOS for US dollars, Dash. These are all the different, let's call them currency pairs. So it trades essentially just like Forex, but it's not Forex, if that makes any sense. I hope I didn't confuse anybody there, but the way the vernacular works, the symbology, is just like trading spot market Forex. You can fund the account with Bitcoin or US dollars and trade major Forex pairs of crypto. Yes, okay, yeah. All right, I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm going to go finish off my glass of whiskey and go enjoy a little bit of sunshine with the German Shepherd as we go for a walk on Back Bay. So, guys, that's going to do it for me for today. I have a pretty busy next week. I wanted to bring up the calendar here. I don't know if you guys saw the calendar. I don't think I have Monday booked yet. I will check here real quick because I got too many things going on in my head. But I know Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've got a lot of great guests on the program. So let me bring that calendar up for you guys so you can see that one. Who do I have on for this week? Let's see. We have next week, nothing for Monday, unfortunately, yet. I have Corey Lane of Traders Army on Tuesday. I have Sam Evans of Stockability on Wednesday, and on Thursday I have Bob Gunslinger Dunn. Mr. Ride the Wave will be on, and I may have a guest on Monday, but we'll see how that one transpires. Right now, that's what the schedule is. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I know I don't want to make the show every week about crypto, but there were so many questions. I really wanted to make sure I addressed these, and some of the things I encountered in the crypto experience for myself were very costly, and I'm hoping that just this little discussion may have made you more aware of some of those issues and help you circumvent them by not making those same stupid mistakes that I made in the past. So that'll do it for me, everybody. Again, thanks so much. If you like today's program, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the program, I think we've got a few. Hit that subscribe button. Until then, have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Cheers to you all. Be safe. I'll see you next week. Take care.